This
Nice.
is Sports Corner, where we're going to be talking about Game 7 of the NBA Finals. I'm your host, Dante Velez, joined by my co-host, Kiki Ragland. And this Game 7 had all the drama in the world, but for all the wrong reasons. It was just such a heartbreaking
Awful.
course of events for the Pacers, and people are going to be remembering this finals for a very long time, specifically for that moment.
Yeah. We were saying this too. This is such a unique finals where you're not going to remember who won. You're not going to remember when you think about this 15 years later and you look back, you're not going to remember the Thunder winning it. You're going to remember you will remember, but then you'll remember Halliburton's injury. That's
Hmm.
be the first thing on your mind. It's awful.
Yeah,
Awful. It's awful and heartbreaking. I'm absolutely disgusted that that happened. You never want to see that too. At least not in a finals, not in a game seven, but just as a player too.
you never want to see that.
It,
You never want it to happen.
it's so sad. And now he's probably not probably he will be out for almost all of next season,
Hmm.
and it's just going to be a long road back. And you know, I mean, we could talk about the whole as the playoff run he had is unbelievable. He was just a leader too for the
Hmm.
Pacers team, for Indiana, the entire city of Indiana. I mean, it's just awful to see something happen to a player like that. And
Yeah, it really is just heartbreaking because he had 4 game winners in this playoff run, and without him, without his leadership, they wouldn't have gotten this far.
yeah,
And like what we've kind of talked about before, he's not like the highest volume scorer, but he will make the most important and crucial plays when it matters the most.
yeah.
And I think,
And he just rallies
yeah,
his team too.
he rallies his team.
He's a player everyone looks up to. I mean, he is the leader of the Indiana
Yeah,
Pacers. So I feel like when he went out, it just took the air out of the whole stadium,
it
out of the whole
shifted the
building.
whole momentum of the game, and
And not just for the
not
Pacers.
just for the Pacers,
Yeah,
right?
not just for the Pacers too. The OKC got heavily affected too, especially in the first half.
Hmm.
You felt like they were kind of playing, both teams were just kind of figuring out their mojo and figuring
Hmm.
out what to do. And even the crowd was like their energy was weird too, because even though OKC won and they're very happy about it and good for them,
Yeah,
they never want to see that. I
no,
know they didn't want to see that happen to Halliburton.
right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
if I were OKC, I would have wanted to beat them at their healthiest,
oh yeah,
at
as
their
you always, of
at their peak.
course.
That's how you want to win. I'm sure, I mean, it's
Congrats to OKC.
congratulations to
They
OKC.
won, but as basketball fans and our selfishness too, we wanted to see them fight it out on both ends with all the players. But like that's us as selfish basketball fans. But in
Right.
reality, you got to think of them. You got to think realistically too. I mean, I know he's a super young, still 25 years old, and it shouldn't have happened to someone that young, especially
Hmm.
with Tatum's injury and Damian Lillard's injury too, which never happened.
Crazy.
But you have to think they played 82 games, and then they basically played almost every other night in
Hmm.
4 rounds. And that stamina, that pace, it takes a toll on the
Yeah.
players. And if this injury, the calf strain that Halliburton had, if this was happened during the regular season, he would be out a minimum of 3 to 4 weeks, minimum.
Right.
Uh, but of course he's going to play because it's the NBA Finals. So
Yeah, because I mean,
that was
like,
a
you don't want to put it off, because it's the last chance that you've got
exactly.
to push for it. And if it fails him, which it did, then at least he knows that he left it all out on the court.
Left it all out on the floor.
And
But man, his face, it was,
oh,
he knew once that
mhm,
calf, when it's kind of like, it was like a little belt buckle, kind of like, boom, the
mhm.
bone kind of just
You
like,
could see it
I can't
snap.
even talk about it.
You could see
But
it pop.
you could
Yeah.
see it. You could see how awful that injury was and how he knew. And it was just like saying, I can't move. I can't. He's like, why? Why did this happen? And just pounding on the basketball court. It's
Yeah.
awful.
But that's the thing is as much as we were biased for the Pacers, like, much respect to OKC and specifically SGA, because he did go check up on
Yeah, I
Hallie.
saw
He
that.
got injured and he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
showing his sportsmanship and
yeah.
like I don't hate the guy. Like he like you
No,
know you
no,
see
no.
people online like express a lot of hatred for
Just they
OKC and for
how he
SGA.
plays and everything. Yo, I respect him. Yes,
Mhm.
he's a great basketball player, and yeah, he has a lot of compassion for Halliburton and the
Yeah,
entire team of Indiana. Yeah, he's very articulate too. Yeah,
he is.
yeah.
No, I
So
respect him
nothing but
and
respect for SGA. He
yeah.
earned it. Won the Finals MVP. Earned that. First player to ever win the regular season MVP, the Western Conference Finals
Hmm.
MVP, and the Finals
The
MVP. So
Finals
yeah,
MVP.
he
So
earned
we
it.
got to give him his
Gotta give him
flowers for
credit.
that.
And OKC
Definitely.
earned it too. I mean, they were
Yeah.
the best team all year, and they proved to be the best team in the playoffs too. Well, they proved. Let me take that back. I think it was pretty even, but they won. They won in Game
Yeah.
7,
They
and
won fair
they
and
won,
square
and they proved
and
and that's where we go with despite Halliburton's injury, that's why you want to hopefully win the regular season too and do really well to have that home court advantage, especially in situations like this for Game 7,
hmm
because if you're at home playing in Game 7, you definitely have a higher chance of winning with the crowd on your side, and just you play better at home. The role players they play better
right.
at home, and it didn't look like that in the first half, and then but then in the third quarter they kind of played like how they've been playing all season with their defense just on lockdown, and that
Hmm.
third quarter ultimately won them the game.
Yeah. So I mean, it really just is a testament to how consistent they've been. And so you got to give them their flowers because not just SGA but Jalen Williams played up to that level. Chet was a good supportive role as well.
That played
Everyone
well.
played their
Yeah,
roles, and
that was
Caruso
good.
too. Caruso showed hustle
Hmm.
and heart,
Yep.
and congratulations to all those guys because they deserve it. It's their first.
Yeah, but it's not going to be their last. They're going
Oh
to be
no,
good for a while. I mean, it's so hard to, I mean, but it's so hard to make it back and do back to back, but this team will be very good for a while because they're the youngest team.
yeah,
And
youngest
I
team in the
guarantee
league.
you, yeah, by in this summer they'll probably pay SGA the max contract. They'll
Hmm.
give a contract extension to Jalen Williams, to Chet Holmgren. They'll be able to keep the majority of their players. I'm sure Caruso will want to stay too. I don't know if they'll be able to keep everyone, but that most of that team will stay together.
Yeah,
And they're just
because
going to get better. They're not even all
because
in their
they're a
prime.
homegrown team,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of these players have been drafted, so they will have a lot of bird rights for these players, and they'll be able to sign them to the contracts that will fit. And yeah, I mean, I can see them winning multiple in the near
Yeah.
future, and they'll definitely be one of the best teams of this next decade, like ushering in the new age of basketball. Like they're going to be on the mountaintop, and they're going to be tough to beat for sure.
Tough to beat, but
But yeah, I mean, for Howley, prayers up, man. Like he for the next couple, like next year he's going to miss all of it, but
yeah.
hopefully by the time he comes back, he's recovered and
Mhm. It's kind of
maybe
like that
maybe back
curse.
even
I
better.
mean, the curse if you wear the zero jersey, because
Oh God,
like, did you
yeah.
know this? Because Tatum and Lillard are out, and they
Hmm.
both wore zero too. So I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know that zero jersey that just that's
No, I didn't.
the
I did
curse
not
of an
realize that. I
injury.
was like,
No,
that blew my mind.
but this is so weird. It's like it's so these players are so young, especially Tatum and Halliburton too. Well, I guess Lillard's, he's still like, still there, but
Hmm.
it's so crazy to see these injuries happen to these players that are so young too. When's the last time there's been three torn Achilles injuries in a playoff series that's happened?
Yeah,
I can't remember one.
yeah.
Especially the players this
That's
young too.
that is my question about it. Is have we ever seen anything like that in past NBA seasons where there's been so many consistent, like frequent, almost career-ending injuries? But like since they are younger, maybe it won't be so
I mean,
career-ending.
the
But like,
last thing I can remember was Kevin Durant's injury
yeah,
in 2019, and he managed, he bounced back from it, but it took him a while to get back to that, and he was out from almost the majority of next last of the following season,
yeah,
and it's just such a long road of recovery. Halliburton was getting into his prime, you just don't want to see
it
something
is.
like that happen. I
It's
mean,
just the
I was at a
worst case
loss for
scenario.
words. You couldn't
Yeah,
really. even when the game kept going, you couldn't really concentrate on watching the game
Mm-mm.
too. You just in the back of your mind, you really just thought, oh my God, this is awful. You don't
Yeah.
want to see this. I can't even imagine what Halliburton's going through and what his dad's going. They showed like a shot of like his dad right after that happened and how he was in
Hmm.
tears and you
I
know,
mean, did you see the video after the game with TJ McConnell hugging
yeah,
Reggie Miller, like, and
gave
he's
each
like
embraced each
emotional
other.
after it?
Hmm.
It's just it. Yeah, I mean, you can feel it. Like, I'm not even really a Pacers fan.
No,
Like
but
the way we've been talking about them, it seems like we are, but it's just between the two teams, that's who we've kind of chosen to root for. But
yeah, I mean,
I'm
because
not a
they've been such
Pacers
a
fan.
fun team
You
this
feel it.
postseason, with all the heroics that happen and how just like mentally tough and like this team, how this team never gives up too. Like
Hmm.
they are a team, yeah, that you want to root for, and they were the underdogs too. But yeah, yeah, and Halliburton too, like coming out with his crutches at the end of the locker, just like just supporting his teammates too. Like I almost teared up. I almost shed a
I know.
tear seeing
I'm like, Hallie, like, take my Achilles. I don't need it, man. Just
that.
finish the job, you know. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of what it is, you know. Like between the two teams, one has to win. There's no personal vendettas or anything. That's the harsh reality of the situation.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, again, congratulations to the Thunder. They deserved it, and that's a good tail end to their almost perfect season. So.
Yeah, but now, like, they're going to be the top team. The West is still going to be tough next year, too.
Hmm.
Like, they'll see how the Lakers do. I mean, the Wolves will be good again,
Hmm.
too. I mean, the West will be kind of how it was this year,
My
except,
question for you, my
but
question for you
yeah.
is now who do you think? Well, actually, let me rephrase the question.
Hmm.
Um, how do you think the Rockets will do in this upcoming
Oh,
season?
yeah. There we go. Yeah, with the Kevin Durant.
Yes.
Yeah, so we talked about this a little bit before the pod, too. Um, they got rid of Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green, which
Hmm.
more Jalen Green as like it's a bummer for him. But what the Rockets needed, they need a consistent scorer, and how they got the 2 seed this year was not a consistent scorer, it was their defense, and they have a good
Hmm.
coach too, but they need someone who can knock down shots just like that in the clutch too. And KD is a player who can do that. I
Who
mean,
better? Who
in
better to sign?
time,
You know.
but he is lethal from, mid-range, from 3-2. So, yeah, I see why the Rockets did it because yeah, I feel like they'll be a more well-rounded team too. With, now with the players they have.
Hmm.
So, they will be good next year. I think they'll make the playoffs. If nothing crazy injuries happen, they could potentially make a run. And then with on the other side with Phoenix,
Hmm.
they were a team that kind of hit kind of like a brick wall where they
Yeah.
weren't going to go anywhere with this team. They weren't going to make a run. They weren't going anywhere. So
They
they
shot themselves in
give
the
up,
foot.
yeah,
It
to
was just bad.
trade like a
Yeah.
superstar player and get a couple. What'd they get? The 10th pick in the first round and then a couple
They got like 5 second round
5 second
picks.
round picks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're basically their mindset is rebuilding. They
Hmm.
weren't gonna get anywhere as long as KD was on that team because he's so expensive and they needed to change. They
You
needed to
know,
in the
who I
direction.
feel really bad for is Booker though, because
Yeah.
when he came into the league, he was on a really bad Suns team, and then they finally like built it up.
Yeah.
They had a good core, and then
They
it
made
just
it to
got
the
blown up again.
finals.
Yeah, they
I
went
thought
to
they
the
were gonna win the
finals
finals. Yeah.
what was it, like 4 years ago? They went to the finals, and just in that amount of time, look like now they've kind of backtracked, and like now
Yeah.
you just got to feel bad for him
They've
because
been
he's
through
just like,
couple coaches too. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, but the Suns had to do it. I mean, that's why they traded KD because they knew they weren't going to go anywhere with this team and they needed to change. And yeah,
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
rebuilding.
I think KD will be a good fit as long as he stays healthy and he will provide, that scoring like you said for them. And if they just keep everything else the same that they did, then they could make that leap. I can definitely see them being in playoff contention. But
I knew it was going
um,
to be one of the Texas teams. I knew it was going to be.
yeah.
There's also the map, but I knew it was going to be a team in Texas, either with the
Hmm.
Rockets or the Spurs. So.
Right.
You told me you're pretty relieved that he wasn't.
I'm relieved. I that would have been a nightmare for me to see Wemby paired up with Durant like
Yeah, but that
that.
would have been.
Switched me.
I know. As Laker fans, that would have not gonna be that wouldn't be fun to see. But that
No.
would have been cool though.
I mean, in terms of like news and
And
everything, that
news
would
and
have been
everything.
pretty
Yeah,
like
yeah.
box office.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, I think the Rockets, I think they'll be another. I mean, they'll be the top team in the Thunder's going to
yeah,
be the top team for a while, but they'll be a playoff contending team. That's what
yeah,
I think. And then let's talk about the East real quick too.
yeah,
Now that two of the top teams and their star players are now
yeah. They're
going to
out
be
with
out
Achilles
for all of
injuries.
next season, basically. And
hmm
who's going to be the top team in the West? Do you think, or top
Well,
teams?
top teams in the East.
Oh, sorry, the East. My bad.
Yeah, I'd say. Well, yeah, with the Celtics taking that hit and the Pacers, I mean the Cavs will definitely still be in
Yeah.
contention there. Maybe New York, maybe the Magic
First, they got to find a
with
coach, New York.
yeah,
Yeah, but they'll
that's
still
true.
have the same majority of the same squad. Yeah, yeah,
Right. And then the Magic too. I mean, with that
yeah.
Desmond
With
trade.
Desmond Bain, we didn't talk about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah, I think Desmond Bain will be a great addition to
He's a
them.
great addition. He's going to definitely provide a lot of support for that team.
Hmm.
They're already a good young team with Bankero and Wagner, Suggs, and so adding a piece like that will definitely elevate them. So I'm interested to see
I agree.
what they do with that. But then in terms of the Celtics trading away Drew Holiday
Yeah,
for
he was
Anthony
expensive,
Simons,
so
yeah,
they couldn't hold on to everyone. Yeah, but I feel
hmm
for Holiday. I mean, I mean, I had a lot of respect for Holiday, and I
I
just
do
liked
too.
him because former Bruin. Um,
hmm
Going to the Trailblazers from the Celtics to the Trailblazers, he's not gonna have a he's not gonna have a great time.
Because
And
yeah,
with a team like
Drew's getting
that,
up there. He's getting up there in age too, and like I think he's like
yeah.
seeing like a plateau of his career, and he was a main reason why the Celtics
Oh,
won. Like he
yeah.
was a glue guy. Like him and
Hmm.
Derek White were the ones that would stick on to people. But yeah, you just got to feel for him, and I understand why they traded for Anthony Simons because without Tatum, they do need an extra scorer, and Simons will provide that. I mean, he's not going to be Tatum, but
No,
he'll provide that much needed volume scoring
I agree.
that going
But
forward.
both these two teams with the Pacers and Celtics, like,
Mm,
eh, eh,
yeah.
I mean, well, we'll see what happens next year. I mean, the Pacers are going to keep majority of their core too,
hmm
and yeah, they still have a great backup with like T.J. McConnell and Ben Mathurin.
Yeah, he'll definitely be a crucial piece for them to keep while Halliburton is
Yeah,
out. Nonetheless, this was a great finals, and it was a great playoffs. Like
great playoffs. A lot
some
like
of the
last year.
best
These
playoff
last two, I
basketball.
mean, this finals was definitely better than the finals last year, but just the playoffs in general as a core
hmm
for these last two seasons, they've been great.
Yeah,
They've been unbelievable. Like they've been so entertaining to watch. We were talking about this too. Like now it's kind of, we're kind of hit like a dry run or dry like spot. Like now it's
yeah.
summer. Like it's kind of before the NFL season. It's kind of sad. I mean, we have baseball season, but
I'm glad that it really did live up these finals. Like it really did feed these NBA fans, including us. And I'm grateful for it. And I've appreciated discussing the
yeah,
whole these playoffs with you, man. Like
me
it's
too.
been
Me
really
too.
entertaining
I guess for now, when as we'll keep doing, we'll
as
definitely
we
keep
go
doing this, but we
forward.
can keep now. It's all baseball season, and there's like the
It's
what's
golf
it
right now.
called? Yeah, there's golf. There's
I
the
know we
I'm
can
wearing my
definitely discuss.
jersey.
Yeah, go Rams.
Hmm. Go
Definitely
Rams. Yeah,
discuss off-season stuff and the upcoming NFL season as well. There'll be a lot to discuss. So yeah, going
stay
forward,
tuned. Stay tuned,
we'll have a
guys.
lot of content for that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean that concludes our discussion on the NBA playoffs.
we'll keep
What
you
a ride,
posted
man!
though too on any big blockbuster trade that
Oh
happens
yeah,
this summer too. And what happens with our Lakers and who
yeah.
leaves, who stays.
We'll keep everyone in the loop.
Yeah.
Whenever there's breaking news by Shams, we'll be there and we'll talk it, man. But yeah, I think that puts an end to this episode today, and
Was a
this has been
sad
fun,
episode
man.
today. It was a sad episode. you know?
Definitely sad, man.
Yeah.
But all the same, congrats again to
Congrats to
the
OKC.
new 2025 NBA
And
champs.
prayers up for Halliburton.
Of
Speedy
course.
recovery. Wishing you a speedy recovery, dude.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll
All right,
see you
guys.
guys next one. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys. Bye.